In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to take your trading level from like a D10 level and make it a D1 level.
That tastes like promotion!
We're going to be going over icon trading to help you guys make as many coins as possible. Like I have made millions and millions of coins icon trading, and others have made tens of millions. As well as we can artificially inflate your transfer profit and just make trading so much more fun than it is right now. If you guys do enjoy today's video, make sure you guys drop a thumbs up. The goal for this video is 20 likes. Can we hit that? It would be much appreciated. And if you're new, of course, hit that subscribe button. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So first thing I kind of want to go over is the current state of the icon market and kind of just go over some fluctuations and things to expect from the market, because understanding the market as a whole makes trading these individual icons so much more easier. So the icon market right now is the most stable of any of the FIFA like mini markets, we'll call it, like the golds, the metas, the fodder.
Hey, that's class!
Icons have not taken a drop really whatsoever. We had our big crash last Friday, and this was the result of it, like really just a mini little dump, which has rebounded nicely, and the icon market has been doing very, very well recently. Just today, we hit a pretty high point at like 101 was the indicator. You don't really need to understand what all these mean, what the index coin total is. You guys really just want to look and see if the market's going up or if it's going down. And usually when the market's going up, it means trading icons is so much more effective. And on the hourly graph, it's nice to kind of buy in during these little dips. So it's good to know where the icon market in general is at before you guys jump into icons. Now, we do say it's stable. However, you guys do have to be careful. Early on, what happens is we see a lot of price fixing, it's called. And if we actually if we go back to where we were, it should show down here. You'll actually see that some icons jump around in price a lot. So for example, Socrates here, he's up 70%, which means that he went from basically like 500K to 800K. What you'll often see with icons with low supply is people try and price fix them, basically setting their price to something extremely, extremely high in order to kind of like trick players into getting in. So as you can see, his actual price is 500K, but sometimes with a low supply, you'll see a ginormous spike in price. And as you can see right there, like that is just unrealistic. And that is something you guys have to keep in mind when you're trading with these icons, so you don't, get caught in, this kind of situation. So now I want to get into the two kind of fluctuations that we're going to be kind of looking for during, while you're trading icons. And the first one's going to be the daily fluctuations. Basically, you look on the hourly graph, but looking at how a card fluctuates throughout a day. So for example, we'll stay on Socrates here. He's not the best one to trade, but as you guys can see, his price kind of jumps up and down a bit from like 475 up to, 510. And these are little fluctuations that you guys kind of want to look out for, especially when trading icons. So again, a 475 there you see going up to 525. If you bought at 475 and you sell at 525, that's a 25K profit after tax. So these kind of fluctuations, let's see what happened on Monday with him. And I'd imagine it's the same thing. His low point was again about 480, 490. Then he had a random price fix again, but about 480, and then he went up to 500K. Those were Xbox prices, but PlayStation does the same thing. You just have to kind of indicate them. But as you guys can see throughout the day, he fluctuates between then. So if you're looking at a Socrates, for example, when he's 475, kind of take a look. See if you could find any lower than 475, because he's going to fluctuate back up. And when the market is very stable, this is very safe to do. I don't really see anything taking down this icon market anytime soon, but this is a nice little one you guys could look at. And then there's also the daily fluctuations. Now, with the daily fluctuations, you do have to be a little bit careful early on in the game right now, because we haven't had FIFA out for so long. We don't know how these cards are going to fluctuate with Weekend League and stuff, but if you're watching this afterwards, you'll be able to kind of tell the difference. Usually what happens is the icon market kind of dips down on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Saturday, depending on what drops. And then it rises up for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even like early Saturday. So that's something to keep in mind when you guys are looking at the market as a whole, because you'll often find that it's easy to make good profit off of that. We're going to take a look at Mateus here real quick, and we'll see he has very similar fluctuations as far as like him trading goes. So as far as a weekly fluctuation goes, we've seen, he kind of dips down on, say the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then he rose up for the weekend. Now, of course, we did have a little market crash, which would change it up. But, you can see on Saturday into Sunday, he kind of came down a little bit on Xbox and PlayStation, and he's starting to move back up now. And as far as the hourly graph goes, you'll see there are low points and high points. So about 2 mil seems to be his lowest, actually 1.94. And then you'll see he got up to as high as like 2.3, 2.2 on Xbox today. And yesterday, same kind of deal. You saw he got low and then he'd go up. And Monday as well, you know, kind of the low points sitting at 1.7 mil and then moving upwards. Again, you do have to be careful with some of these. There are big fluctuations, and of course, we'll get into that. So moving on, we're going to talk about buying now and there's actually 2 buying methods that I like to do. It's the bidding method and then the 59th minute method. We're going to show you guys both. So first off, we're going to start with the bidding method. Now, when you guys are bidding, I do recommend it's probably better to do this at night, especially if you're on PlayStation, because the market is always filled with people all the time. What you guys are going to do when it comes to bidding, is try and find any icons that are underpriced. What I like to do usually is I'll set like the min buy now to like 100k or whatever, just so you get all the icons in, and then you set your max price to 100k as well, so like 115 or something, so that way you can find any icons on the market that are starting very low on bid. It's just easier to find icons to kind of bid on, and then you guys can add them to your transfer targets, and when it comes down to them you know, hitting their expiry, you guys can start bidding. There's not really any tips or tricks for bidding. You will likely get in a bidding war that makes you just wanna. But with bidding, sometimes you do get lucky and you can make some really good profits off of that. Now, when you guys are buying, you guys wanna make sure you are buying icons, keeping in mind of the EA tax. You guys always wanna be buying icons, A, lower than their price if possible, and B, enough to make profit on cards. That's why I recommend if you guys are bidding, you probably want to bid on icons that are under like 200, 300k, because the tax won't be as devastating as if you were bidding on somebody that was, say, like 2 mil, like Mateus we just looked at. Because, you know, a tax on Mateus, that's 100k you lose at 2 mil to tax. So you guys have to be careful with those bigger icons. That's why, like I said, bidding, go for the lower ones. And then of course there's the 59th minute method, which I love. I think the 59th minute method is where you can find the most deals. Now, if you guys are on console, you do have to be a little bit quicker with what you do. So what I recommend doing is setting kind of a filter to kind of find icons within a certain thing. And what you guys are going to do is skip the pages until you hit to the point where it shows the icons that are time remaining at the 59th minute. So you can see right there, I'll zoom in. But this is where you guys could find a lot of deals, and you guys, it does help to know the prices. But for example, like Larson, if he was like 220, this would be a good deal. But this is where you'll find a lot of undercuts. This one might actually sell a little bit quicker just because he's 240. But you guys can find these icons that are kind of undercut, and you can try to make profit. This is also good if you're trying to do it off the fluctuation. So if you see a low point in the day and you could find one here, you'll likely be able to make you know, a decent profit off of this. Even Koeman right here. I know Koeman actually usually sits around 175 at his low point anyways, so I'm not going to touch this one. But for example, you could see his next closest price was 188, and that would be a very good one. Now, the way to keep doing this is you just simply keep moving up the filter, kind of like sniping, and just skipping to the back. Like I said, it does help to know the prices, so you guys can do this kind of fast. It's why I recommend you guys do a filter, for example. So you guys are kind of looking at the same icons over and over. You know, if you're doing it from 150k to 250k, you'll only find icons within that price, and it's a much lower amount of prices to remember. What I recommend doing if you don't know the prices is actually just like get a piece of paper, and it's old school, but get a piece of paper and like write down prices and stuff, and you'll be able to remember them. We'll see if we can actually find a quick deal here. We might not be able to, but if we do, that would be quite nice. But I do recommend that you guys be, you know, patient with it. It does take a little bit of time. The best time to kind of do this is during content time when the market's busy, because you guys can find a lot, you know, better deals. When you guys do start building up your coins, I find it actually easier to go on the console and go for like the 1,000,000 coin icons and stuff, because people aren't as quick to snipe them and stuff. And you'll see, guys, there are a lot of people who are snipers. They will, you know, you will see icons go very fast, whether it's extensions, bots, whatever it is. But I find with the bigger icons, people tend to be a little more cautious and patient and decide, especially when you're bidding on some of these, or you're looking to buy some of these big ones with undercuts. But be careful with that, of course. But there will be times where you guys can find some pretty crazy undercuts. So I always like to just set 250k as my filter. and then just let anything else go under. Sometimes you will find an icon that gets min listed. Maybe it's coin sellers who, you know, when they accidentally sell an icon for min price, you know, they get a little
Don't panic. No, I am, because I'm gonna lose my job.
worried or whatnot. But you guys will find some pretty decent deals, and again, it just kind of revolves around patience. So this one right here, 157, it's actually not a bad shout for one to pick up. You guys can look to reflip them for like 172, I think. And of course, if you guys want to, you can always look up the icons. I always keep FUT open with me at the start of every FIFA when I'm learning the prices. And I'll be honest with you, I have not done as much icon trading yet. I just haven't had the time to, so I don't know all the prices from scratch. But Schmeichel, for example, and I can kind of walk you through what I looked through. As you can see, there was actually multiples at 157, so this would not have been a good buy at all. And if we look down to his fluctuations, we can see that he usually was about 170 on the weekend. So if I wanted to do like a weekly fluctuation flip with this card, I probably could sell him for like, you know, 175 come this weekend, because it is only Wednesday, I think. And then even looking at the daily, you saw he actually did sell for like 175 earlier today. And then he's come down a little bit as we get into this afternoon, which happens. So this one actually, this wouldn't be a terrible flip if you could sell them for like 170 and then after tax, you know, 6, 7, 8K. But these are the icons you guys kind of want to start with. You know, you don't want to start with like a mid R9 or something like that. Now guys, let's get into the selling of it. Let's say you guys do finally buy an icon and you're ready to sell them. You're ready to start flipping them. I think I literally just cleared my transfer list, unfortunately. But there are a few different strategies I guess you guys can consider when trading and selling these icons. So one thing to always keep in mind is what the prices are of obviously all the other icons. So for example, Raul here, we see that all of these are selling at about 240, 234 that's a pretty big undercut. So let's just say, for example, you were to find one at 215 or something, and you can make potentially a 20K profit. So what you guys can do, or what you guys should do, is never list under the lowest price. So for example, the lowest price here listed is 234K. And what most people will do is list them for say 230K, because then he's lowest on the market and he'll often, you know, he'll get bought. That's not the smartest play to do, because what will actually end up happening is, say nobody buys your Raul or this Raul, this guy will see your price at 230 and he'll list his under your price. And this can actually end up causing an undercutting kind of battle, I guess. And this is what can, you know, this is what drags people's low fluctuations down. So you never want to force the market to go down on a certain card because you're trying to sell. So what you guys always want to do is sell for the second lowest price on the market. So the second lowest price that we saw right here is 240. So this one's 234. So what I would sell mine for is like 239K, because that way this guy will eventually get his bought, especially as we're heading towards the weekend and people want to put icons into their team and link them all up and stuff. So what'll happen is this guy's will sell, and then mine becomes the new lowest, and people will look to probably buy mine. Now, of course, these prices, I don't know his exact price, but one more example would be Van der Sar. We see the lowest price on the market for him is about 245. So what we can do is list ours for, or there's a 244 there. Like, we don't want to list ours for 242 because then everyone's going to keep undercutting. So like a 247 or something would be a good one to sell ours at. It does take patience sometimes selling icons. They aren't all going to sell in the first 30 minutes. Sometimes it takes a couple hours to get them to sell. So just be patient selling and definitely don't try to undercut. Because again, guys, the last thing you want to do is get in an undercutting battle where your Van der Sar goes from 245K to 220K, because again, it'll just leave you. Now, when you guys are actually listing an icon up, there's actually a great tool that FUT has where you can see what icons sold for at what price. So sometimes you'll see, you know, if there's an icon, say, that's kind of getting price fixed, he's up more than usual. You can actually take a look at this called the market sales history on FUT, and you can see what the cards actually sold for at a given price. So for example, right now, his price, he's at about like 375K. So right here, you can see FUT lists all the prices that these cards might have sold for. So for example, let's say his price is inflated, and Balak right now, all the cards on the market are about 500K, and there's one for 450. That would not be a good buy, because you know earlier today that a bunch sold for 380, and it's just a lot of low supply in the market inflating prices. So this is something you do have to be careful of, and it's why I recommend you always keep FUT open when trading icons, because that way you can look at some of these sales histories. So for example, even earlier today, we saw one sell for 358K. But of course, the average was about 375k. So you guys know that about 375k is his price. And anything you guys can find under that is a good buy, and anything that, you know, is over that probably wouldn't be a smart buy to do right now. Now guys, some things to know while trading icons. Promo days. Any promo Friday, icons are great to buy during the panic, whether we have lightning rounds later in the year or just promo packs. When you see the market dip down, you guys want to buy in icons because icons will always rebound overnight just due to the supply. There's not a lot of supply on some of these icons. Like Vieira, there's 3 of them on the market, 4 of them. These icons have very limited supply. So if you guys see any panic on icons and you see they're dipping, definitely pick a couple up and then look to resell them later in the day. If we do end up seeing, you know, a market crash happen like we did last Friday, just stay away from some icons. If you see the market is crashing hardcore, just stay away. You guys can always trade and flip them later on in the day. But you guys just got to be patient. Don't force any buys. If you see the market crashing down, just step away for an hour or two and wait until we find a bottom. And again, any high volatility trading, we actually showed you guys with the Mateus. These cards fluctuate a lot in price. And again, if you're just starting out, I don't recommend even touching these ones. But if you guys are kind of more experienced and you want to trade these higher priced icons, be careful with them, okay? Just be careful because oftentimes you'll find some of these cards you buy at 2.7 or something for Ronaldinho, you think you can sell them for 2.9. Next thing you know, a day later, his price is 2.5. You guys can lose a lot of coins on them. Just be careful. Make sure you see a stable price when you buy. And sometimes it's best to avoid some of these multi-million coin ones because again, they are very, very risky to play with. And yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure you guys drop a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and until next time, peace.